live stream, the last stream of this year. All right. What's up, everybody? For those of you who are already chiming in, I know it's a little bit earlier for all the guys in the US today, but I just have to do it that way, otherwise my schedule just does not work. But here we are. Merry Christmas, everybody. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm already in, I'm already in the Christmas sweater. I have I have scotch. I brought beers. All the best things so we can have a little fun for the next hour or so. So lean back, come hang, and have a good time. We're gonna do a couple cool things today. First off, I want to do a quick recap of 2025. What have we done collectively as a small little Joey Jones community? And then also, what's happening next year? Because I have a couple cool updates for you guys, what's happening in 2026. A couple cool things already lining up, and I'm pretty sure you get excited about these ones. And then, I reached out to you guys via YouTube posts and on Instagram. For all of you who have questions, so I've noted down a couple questions that I found really, really interesting. And then you can also, obviously, post questions in the chat while we're going about riffs, licks, guitars, amps, live, music, whatever you want to discuss with me today. We're going to do that today because holidays are coming up. So good time to chill out, talk guitars, amps, music, have a good time. What's not to like? I guess we're gonna start right off, and obviously I'm gonna, play a couple licks in between. No worries. So, first of all, let's get into what this year has been for the Joey Jones channel. I think it's pretty awesome because we've grown a lot from. I only really started YouTube last year. Like, I did some videos in 2023, but not many. We only really started the entire thing last year, and look at us today, almost at 30,000 subscribers. We can go only up from here. Pretty cool. And a couple of things that were really highlights for me, and I've noted them down. I think a couple of you probably also experienced. So, for instance, there was this awesome video in the beginning of the year. It was the C# standard tuning video, which for some reason just blew the doors off. Like, everybody liked that video so much. It did really, really well. I got a lot of new subscribers just from that video alone. The C# standard tuning video really, really had some impact. To this day, I'm still getting messages from people saying, hey, one of my guitars is tuned to C# standard now, and that's just awesome. So I'm glad I brought the C# standard tuning to you because it is an awesome tuning. We're not gonna play it today, but that was definitely the first highlight of 2025 because that was in February, I guess. We were still in the middle of winter and that video just blew up for some reason. Then the next thing that happened, I forgot to bring, give me a second. I got this article in the Grand Guitars magazine. That was also in winter, so let's see where we are. I don't remember where it was in the magazine, but it was a pretty big article and a huge photo. Look at this. Pretty cool. So you had me with the Tele and then an entire article. 1, 2, 3 pages in Grand Guitars, the German guitar magazine. That was also a very, very cool highlight of 2025. The thing is, guys, I never thought this would actually happen, but it does happen now. I tend to appear in magazines and stuff. And also, I'm getting recognized on the streets. Not super often, not while I'm grocery shopping, obviously, because the guitar world is too big of a bubble to be that popular. But every now and then at a concert in Berlin or at some festival or, just in the middle of the day on the street, somebody will come up, are you Joey Jones? I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? Usually people can't believe it, but since I'm just your next door guy, usually that's all cool. So all these things are happening. And then in summer, I released, this is definitely one of the biggest highlights. I released my first couple solo tracks. If you don't know my music, check it out. Spotify, Apple Music, Joey Jones. You'll find my songs. I released the first 2 singles. Was super nice feeling, especially because we recorded it at Hansa Studios in Berlin, which is a famous studio where U2 recorded and David Bowie recorded and so many other bands, Coldplay, and like biggest bands. Youngblood, I think, did a single there in Hansa Studios as well. So Hansa Studios recording there was an absolute experience. I never thought I would experience that. It was absolutely amazing, and the singles turned out great, and we got more music coming, so what's not to like? And then Guitar Summit, obviously, in September. I guess this is my last one here. Guitar Summit in September was a blast again, hanging out with, Rob Chapman and Rabea and all these guys. Just having a good time for an entire weekend, talking guitars, hanging out. Doesn't get any better than that, I feel like. So Guitar Summit, also a super nice thing. I can see we already have a couple questions in the chat. I'll get to those in a second. Before that, let me tell you real quick what's coming in 2026, because 2026 is going to be amazing if you are a fan of what I'm producing, composing, writing as a musician. So my own music is going to have a huge, it's going to be my biggest focus point in 2026, let's just say, because I am going to release a Joey Jones album. Yes, you heard right. We're going to see a Joey Jones album. You probably heard the first 2 singles on Spotify already, but we're going to have an entire album, and there's going to be, and that's maybe especially important for Germans who are listening right now and watching right now, there's going to be live shows. I'm going to be out playing live again on stage. You can see me live, and when the tickets go up, I'll let you know. But for now, you just need to know in 2026, there is an opportunity to see me live, to see me perform live with the band, my own songs. I'm singing, I'm playing guitar, all that good stuff. So I'm super excited about that. I can't tell you dates just yet. I also can't tell you where it is just yet. I can only say there will be opportunities to see me live. All the other stuff, I'll get back to you. So that is already a nice update, I think, because I haven't been playing live in a long time, and it's time to bring my music to you guys, the people. And happy to do that. The other cool thing we're going to do in the beginning of 2026 is I'm going to do a quick little stint with Fender on a certain guitar. I'll let you know in probably 2 or 3 weeks what that is. It's not going to be a signature guitar or anything like that. That's not in the cards, guys. But I'm going to do a cool little project with Fender that I just discussed with Fender this week. So it's going to be awesome. Always in contact with the guys at Fender, and they like what I'm doing. I like what they're doing. So we're all good. So these are the 2 updates you need to remember. Joey Jones live shows and an album, and a cool Fender thing we're going to do in the beginning of the year. So that's not going to be long before you know what's happening there. Nice. All right. Now we got that out of the way. Let's start with your questions. Shall I go with the questions I noted down first, or with yours? I think I'm going to start with yours here. What do we have going on? Patriots Fight says, can we get a how to record video or lesson? So it's crazy that this question comes up more often now. I've gotten a couple questions if I can do a recording course, which is a good idea. I'd love to do that, but I need to check with you guys how big the interest for that is. Let me know in the chat. Would you like a recording course, how to record your guitar? What do you need? What do you absolutely don't need? And how to get a good sound into your computer and actually do the things that I'm doing. Building backing tracks, building songs with a good guitar sound, doing YouTube videos, all that nice stuff. If you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments. I'll definitely do a new course next year. Maybe it's a recording course. Yeah, why not? Dude, have you seen the match against the Broncos this Sunday? Oh, you're a cheesehead then. I can't believe Parsons got injured, man. So this is an NFL, so American football related question. Here, merch. Green Bay Packers. Yeah, man, I saw it, and I'm heartbroken because I feel like our season is over. And I know we're not out, but I feel like if you're losing all these players in one game, that just makes your team collapse, I guess. I hope we're going to go far, but I think without that defense, we're not going to go far enough. So I'm pretty heartbroken about that. Still, we're going to beat Chicago this week, I hope. You have helped me take me away from the crazy world matrix we live in. That's nice. Thank you, man. Hello, you right? You changed the pickups with Fender Custom Shop 51 No-Caster. Which scheme did you use? Not sure I understand the question. Maybe explain a little more in the chat. I don't understand what that question is. Oh man, walked by you at Guitar Summit. Why didn't you come up, man? Next time you see me, let me know. And we can chat or talk guitars or do a photo together or something. David Matai asks, hey Joey, I've noticed that we have pretty much the same guitars, Fender, Nick Huber, and Gibson, which is so cool. David, what's not to like about that? I mean, you seem to have good guitar taste. Yeah, see, if I wasn't so dissatisfied with Gibson guitars, I think it would be Fender and Gibson for me. But my relationship with Nick Huber is such a great one, and he loves what I'm doing, and I love what he's doing. It's the same kind of gentleman's agreement that I have with Fender. Fender likes what I'm doing on Instagram and YouTube, representing the brand with this guitar. And sometimes we do nice things together. And the same happens with Nick Huber. He loves what I'm doing, and I love his craft. That is one of the reasons why I have a signature guitar with Nick Huber. So let me know in the chat what Nick Hubers you have. I think it's super fun. And to me, Nick Hubers are, sorry Americans, a bit better Gibsons because just a little bit more attention to detail. Not as historic, I know, but just super great guitars and they sound amazing. Right, what else do we have? In that first batch of questions. Hey Joe, love your Tele tone. Greetings from Chile. Keep rocking that Tele. Which pickup does it have? Hey man, Javier. Greetings to Chile. It's nice. How you guys doing? I do have the No-Caster 51 pickups from the custom shop in here. So there you go. Cool. So far for the first batch of questions. If you have more questions, let me know in the chat. I'm gonna do that the entire stream. And see what I brought here. I brought a couple things that we're going to talk about for a bit because I think it's cool. It's cool if you know about that. So first of all, I have my drink here. This is like an alcohol-free lemon kind of beer that I always drink when I don't want to drink water, and it's amazing. But I brought a couple things that I think you should know because you need to try them. No sponsorship or anything. I just love these things. So, whenever there's Christmas coming up, I don't know about you guys, but whenever there's Christmas coming up, I love to pour myself a little bit of scotch. And I love this Glenlivet, so for the stream, I'm going to have a little bit of scotch because I just love that. It's a smooth, it's not smoky or anything, it's just a smooth Scotch whiskey, and it's absolutely awesome. And you can just sip it on the couch while you're watching a movie, and you know, lazy holidays and the holiday sweater on. It's just the best time, you know? So try the Glenlivet, and if you have any recommendations on good Scotch, let me know. I'm always in for that. That's pretty cool. And then let's move into some interesting questions that I noted down because you guys sent me them beforehand. First one here. Absolute guitarist question, if you will. Can you go deeper on the entire IR topic and which ones you are using? So on these impulse responses, I think there were a couple questions coming up what that actually is. An impulse response is like a digital snapshot of an amp. It contains the information how a speaker reacts with a certain amp and a certain microphone in front of it. So basically it's a snapshot of a mic'd cabinet. And it's by far the most realistic way to mimic an actual speaker with a mic in front of it. So whenever you can't do that, which is always in my case because this is my flat, I always have to use IRs to get the best possible sound of a cab after an amp. Now, I use a lot of IRs that are V30 cabinets with a couple different mics in front of it. And the last times these questions have come up, I used Bogner 2x12 cabinet impulse responses by Ownhammer. Now, a couple people came back at me saying they don't sell that anymore. All right, what can I do about that? I'm not, I'm not connected to Ownhammer. I don't have sponsorship or anything like that. So that just goes to show, just take any other V30 IR by Ownhammer, by Redwires, by York. There's so many good companies out there who provide nice IRs. Just Google a little bit and find something cool. It doesn't have to be a Bogner, it just is in my case, but in your case, it could be a Mesa, a Marshall, an Orange. But what I like is V30 cabinets, mic with SM57s and ribbon mics. So there you go. Next one, absolute banger of a question here. It's super nice. So, name a band we'd never expect you to like, and name one we'd never think you wouldn't like. So, pretty much, I shall name a band that you don't think I would like, and then one you don't think I would like. It's not easy, but I like the question because it makes me think about my taste, The thing is, one thing I think, let's start with the one you probably wouldn't expect me that I don't like it. And it's everything that is connected to instrumental guitar music. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a guitar player, yes, but I've never listened to a full song of Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. I may have listened to one by Andy Timmons. I may have listened to, I don't know, maybe one Paul Gilbert track in my life. I don't know. So I'm totally not into guitar music, like instrumental guitar music without vocals. I really like traditional songs with lyrics, vocals, and choruses, and verses, and all that stuff. So whenever somebody says, this sounds like Satriani, you sound like, this is such a Neil Sean thing to do, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, guys. I never listened to that stuff. It's like, I know I play guitar a lot, and I know I play solos a lot, but usually that is in the context of songs with lyrics and vocals and all that stuff. So I just say guitar music. You may not expect that, but I'm not into instrumental guitar music. Right. And then one band you wouldn't expect me to like. There's a couple, I'd say. Let me readjust the camera here real quick. There's a couple. So Pink, for example, the pop artist from the US. I love Pink. Pink has very, very good songs. I love Post Malone. You probably wouldn't expect that. The hip-hop / country superstar from the US, Post Malone. If you don't know who Post Malone is, get out from under your rock, man. You need to know who that is. He's amazingly talented. So I love Post Malone. I love Pink, for instance. Probably not the bands you would expect me to like, but there you go. I love a lot of catchy... just a lot of catchy pop and rock and country stuff, to be honest. Not the cheesy country stuff, but the well-made stuff, And it doesn't necessarily have to have guitar in that if the rest of the track is made super well. So I love that kind of stuff. Pretty good question here. Next one. I love that. As a German, how many beers can you drink and still play at a top level? I love that question because it already insinuates that I, as a German-born person, can take huge amounts of beer, which, by the way, is not completely untrue because I am from the south of Germany and we tend to drink lots, especially in our youth. But I want to take this opportunity to show you my favorite beer at the moment, which is Hackelberg. It's called Hackelberg Urhell. It's an awesome beer. It's from a very small brewery in Bavaria. It's an awesome beer. Again, no sponsorship. I'm not getting any money. I just love that stuff. This is a very nice, smooth kind of beer. If you're into smooth beers, just go down really well. You just can knock them back, you know. This is awesome. Hackelberg Urhell. Say it with me, guys. Hackelberg Urhell. Amazing. So, back to the question, though. How many beers can I have and still play at the top level? I think the magic number is 2. Because up to 2 beers, I still have my speed and all the articulation. With the 3rd beer, I think I'll get sloppy. And that is that is counting German beers, not American beers. In a similar vein, we had another good question here. What's your favorite beer right now and why is it Bud Light? Which must be a question coming from an American because obviously Bud Light is not even in the top 20 of my favorite beers. It's nothing against Bud Light. I love that stuff. Whenever I'm in the US, I'll have a couple and it's fine. But in general, German beers is a lot stronger than a Bud Light. So it's easy to say I can still play at a top level with 6 beers, meaning Bud Lights. Yeah, I can do that too. That's fine. But 2 German beers is the most I can take. After that, I can still play after 2, but I'll just get sloppy. And I'm probably a little bit too relaxed. And so 2 would be the max. But to be honest, when I'm in a professional gigging situation, like being a sideman for a musician or an artist, I'll drink exactly 0. Because that's not something you should do, in my opinion. All right. Shall we play a little bit before we go into the next sponsor questions? I think so. See, here's my backing track. Today I have something in F sharp minor. And it's easy to go over the Aeolian mode and the Dorian mode and make it sound so good. For some reason, I keep doing the. It just fits so well in that kind of rhythm. So nice. And by the way, we're already talking about it, so there you go. All my courses, all the way until December 24th, I guess, all the way until Christmas Eve, my courses are still 20% off. So if you want to play like that, if you want to learn what it takes to play like that, what kind of modes you need to know, check out my guitar courses in the description down below. So the melodic soloing course is the perfect course if you want to tackle that kind of area here. If you want to break out of the pentatonic box, check the Power Pentatonics guitar course. And if you want to know how to turn, boring power chords into cool sounding Joey Jones style melodic riffs, check out the melodic riffing course. And check out, if you bundle a couple courses, you can save even more than 20%. So till Christmas Eve, go get some courses. It's the perfect time to get a couple really cool deals here. And by the way, if you're still looking for Christmas presents for other guitar players, you can also check the box option for buy it as a gift, and then you can type in the name of the person who should get the course, and then you can also send that as a gift for Christmas. What's not to like about that, right? Good. Let's get into more questions here. Oh, I'll have a little bit of scotch before that. Awesome. Right. David says, I have a Crowdster too, Surfmeister and a Dolphin from 2003. Nick is the man in Germany. Can't agree more because it's awesome. Dolphin from 2003, that's old. And Surfmeister, yeah, man, you have very good taste. Nice. It's the Clarks says, did you see the new John Mayer software to get his sounds? It's all over the internet. Yes, I saw it, but I haven't tried it, to be honest. No idea how it sounds. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure what it does. I think it's just another of these, all-in-one plugins. I'm sure it's good, but I haven't checked it. But in general, I think it's nice. We're living in a world where you can spend, what is it, like $100 or even less than that and get John Mayer's tone. It's pretty nice, I'd say. Okay, what's the next question here? I think I forgot a couple. Remy Corson, any plan to release a list of tasty licks even for USD? I don't know what that question means, to be honest. Release licks for USD? Not sure. Okay, what else do we have? Have you seen the Bare Knuckle Nomad Tele set? They sound amazing for heavier riffs and drop tunings. I've heard about that set, but I've never played it. So I'm just so content with my Nocaster 51 set here that I never tried anything else in that specific guitar, at least. What else? I really can't get on with instrumental guitar music. Much prefer a song with vocals. Yeah, man, me too. That's just a matter of taste, I guess. Where in Bavaria are you from? I'm originally from the Unterallgäu. Cheers, man. I'm from the very north of Bavaria, called Aschaffenburg. And we have one more question here. Yo, man, have 2 of your courses. They are great. Thank you, man. One question. How can you play so melodic and slow and not going 100% fast all the time? Awesome question. Very good question. We should go a little bit deeper on that. The phenomenon that Stipper is describing is called overplaying. And when you're starting out on guitar, you can't fathom that this might be a problem later, but it becomes a problem the more abilities you build up in your playings. The more you are able to play all sorts of things, the more you run into the problem of overplaying. Might sound like a luxury problem here, but it's actually not, because nothing sounds worse than somebody who can play but totally overplays. I think it's even worse than somebody who doesn't have all the skills yet and plays a little bit sloppy. I'd rather hear somebody play sloppy with a limited skill set than somebody totally overplay with a perfect rounded skill set, because overplaying, I can try and simulate what overplaying would be over this backing track. You would have to be super fast to play all the notes. See, that would be overplaying to me, just like a very bland example here. What that basically means is you don't let gaps and you don't let some space for notes to breathe, and you also don't have a good vision on where this melody should go. In my approach to soloing, and I explain this in my courses, I always want to almost have a chorus kind of feel for a solo. In a perfect world, a solo that I'm playing, you should be able to sing along to. When you hear it for the second time, you already kind of know where the solo is going. You already have identified a couple of elements that you could probably repeat by just singing along to it. If that happens, I think I succeeded in my solos. That's just my approach though. So coming back to that question, how can you play so melodic and slow, thank you by the way, and not going 100% fast all the time? You learn that by listening to and watching the crowd you're playing for. Because nothing is more obvious than playing something on stage and you're fired up and you're playing that lightning fast solo and nobody cares about it. Like nobody, like everybody's like, you know, like that. That's when you notice by listening to other musicians, you notice by watching the audience, because if you're trying to do that, people will get bored really quickly. But what you will see when you do that, when you have a well-phrased solo going on, you'll see in the face of the audience, they will do the exact same phase that you do. They will do the, wow, yeah, that's good. You know, that kind of stank face you gotta put on when you hear a nice solo. When you see that in the faces of the crowd, you know you're not overplaying, you're doing everything right. So keep it's always a task to keep it simple. With great power comes great responsibility. It's a perfect saying for this kind of phenomenon, because with great skills comes great responsibility to use them steadily and with the right dosage, you know? That's why I almost never do tapping or sweeping, although I am technically capable of doing these things, but it's not my style. And I've seen too many guitar players do that and just, I don't know, didn't convince me, you know? So I'd rather play something that is a little bit more soulful. I love a good bend and a good vibrato, much more than a quick or a super fast lick. I do play fast from time to time for sure, but it's always to just get the attention back from the listener, you know? But it's not to show off, it's not to show what I'm capable of doing, because it's always about me as a songwriter. It's always about serving the song. What does the song need? And that should always be the first question when you solo over a backing track. So we can do this right now. So let's really listen to the backing track before we play anything and see what the song needs. Go through all the elements of what you're hearing. You hear a beat that goes like this. So this should give you a first idea of how your phrasing should be like. Because that mimics the drum part, right? And then listen to the chords that are one layer above. You have F sharp, A, E, and B. So that means we're in minor. So this is a minor thing. So I'm thinking straight Aeolian. And if you want to learn the Aeolian mode and how it's used in these kinds of backing tracks, check out my melodic solo guitar course description down below. I'm thinking minor, I'm thinking Aeolian, and so now I have a phrasing idea like da 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 da. Now I just have to find the right notes. Where's my F minor? And there we go. Let's try and phrase that. Once you're done that, you can build in a quick, fast lick to just like get the attention back like that. quick guide to not overplay. I hope that is helpful, and I think everybody can just, for all the ones watching later and not live right now, you can just, fast backwards and just go over that a couple times and see what I'm actually doing. Right. Do we have more questions? What are you guys doing on over the holidays? Let me know. Hanging out with the family? What are you guys doing? Playing guitar? Going to concerts? Seeing friends? What are you guys doing? Solo should be a song within a song. Yeah, man, that is a nice philosophy, for sure. That's a good one. It should be a song within the song, kind of like a microcosm here, right? It's cool. We got another one. Hope I can buy some of your course in the coming year. I have a 20-year-old Squire Strat. Wondering if I should upgrade the pickups. What would you recommend? I always recommend the Fender Nocaster pickups. That's what I'm using. They're great. Don't spend more than what they cost, I would say. What else? Stuart Copeland said it best. It's not what you play, but what you don't play. Exactly. That is. I think that's true, but also I think that's a total drummer statement, because with drummers, I think drum beats get more and more interesting the less you play, I feel like. Cheers, by the way. That good old scotch. Out of all your guitars, which neck needs to be adjusted the most? Says Dan Anthony. Dan, I have to tell you something. I never had to readjust any of my necks except one time in the last 5 years. I had to adjust the neck of the Nick Huber Surfmeister once. But that was due to it lying in some cold car one night. But other than that, I never had to readjust any of my necks, despite the fact that I'm always tuning up and down with the same strings, down to drop E, up to E standard. My necks just take that very, very well. And unless I would just put a guitar right next to a heater, I think nothing will happen usually. So I don't know if I'm just lucky, but my necks don't do that. It also depends a lot on where you live. It depends so much on how much humidity you have going on. So if you're living in Louisiana, obviously all your necks need to be readjusted all the time because it's so humid, right? But in Germany, it's pretty okay, I'd say. My grandparents and my father immigrated to the United States from Germany in 1947. Man, awesome. I'm such a history buff. I love these kinds of stories. I have always wanted to go to the homeland. Man, you should do it someday. It's not too bad here, especially in summer. In winter, it's probably like in Boston. So it's okay, you can do it, but it's just cold, But in summer, it sure is nice, for sure. Right. Simon Wenlock says, I'm definitely going to be playing guitar and recording a new album too. Over the holidays? That's a great plan, man, I have to say. Pretty good. I live in Long Island. It's humid as hell. Yeah, right. Yeah, Long Island. So if you're living in Long Island, I have to say, it's totally normal you have to readjust necks all the time. I mean... That just happens. And also, I would imagine in those kinds of climates, you also have lacquer wearing way faster than anywhere else in the world, right? So I think metal parts might oxidize faster. Lacquer will just fade easier, right? All that stuff. I think it all reacts with these kinds of chemicals on your guitar, I would say. So maybe that happens too. I don't know, but. The only real wear and tear that I put on my guitars are scratches, because I use these 2mm, I don't know if it actually focuses, probably not, maybe now. I use these 2mm picks that are super heavy and super thick, and they're also sharp, because I want sharp edges so I can pick a little easier. And they're great because they don't wear. They're by Chicken Picks, made in the Netherlands, great company. I use them exclusively. But the problem is they wear down the lacquer of your guitar quite a bit. So this was heavy relic to begin with, this guitar. But I definitely gave it some more scratches over the years because I've been playing this a lot over the last couple of years. So yeah, that happens. But I mean, guys, to be honest, nothing better than a guitar that's a little bit worn down. So if the lacquer is off just a little bit, if you scratch the guitar a little bit, my God, that's just, it's DNA, right? That's history, right? You played this guitar and now the guitar has scars. There's a story to everything. I love these kinds of things. Dan asks, what gauge strings do you use and what brand? I use Diodario, but I'm one of the guitar players who doesn't feel a lot of difference in string brands, to be honest. So I could go from Ernie Ball to Diodario to you name it, and probably wouldn't notice a huge difference other than one might be a little bit slicker or it's easier to slide, and one might be a little bit more, might have a little bit more grip or so. But I'm using 10 to 46 for the most part, and then it's NYXL by Diodario because I feel like they last a little bit longer. And I always like the sound of fresh strings, which is, I think, a pretty controversial view, but I like the sound of fresh strings. I do not like the sound of dull strings. Simon says, I live in Spain and the only issue I have with necks in this time of year, my EVH Wolfgang really doesn't like it when it gets cold. Yeah. I've heard similar stories when you take your guitar on the plane, and then it's also sometimes a little bit of a problem because you take them down again and then you're trying to play because you have a fly gig somewhere or something. And then your neck is just all over the place. You have to readjust a little bit. Zach told me about, Zach, the guitarist of Seal, Zach Wish, which I had on my podcast on this channel. Check it out if you want. He told me about it, that his Sur Strats have that less than his Fender Strats for some reason. I don't know why. So he's often taking the Sur Strats to the fly gigs. Pretty interesting. Red Black Blues says, thanks man for the blues, for the love of the Tele and the love of C-sharp tuning. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for the inspiration. Rise Again is one of the greatest rock ballads of the last 10 years. Man, keep rocking. Bless you all. Thank you. If you like Rise Again, check out my solo songs under the name Joey Jones on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you find your music. Because I do have my solo songs as well, and I will release an album of solo songs next year. Shady Bell is sidetracked and is going to be for a while, I would say. So you better hop onto the Joey Jones train on Spotify now, because that's what we're going to be working on. Try the Diodario XS strings that last even longer than the NYXL. Good tip, man. I'll try that. For me, it's not necessarily about lasting all that. It is about lasting, but it's about how long do they sound fresh and bright. Because for me, I rarely have the issue of string break. I rarely break strings. I don't know why, because I bend the fuck out of my strings. But I don't have any problems with string breaks, but I like them when they sound lively and bright, and I especially like it on humbucker guitars because they benefit from that a lot. The string separation, the definition, because humbuckers tend to go muddy quickly, so if you have these dull sounding strings, it just all sounds bad to me. So that's nice. Good. Gibson sent my Les Paul back with Gibson string and with Gibson strings, and I hate them. I could tell you such a good story. Oh, let's do that. It's the Christmas stream. I should tell you this story. Are you ready for story time? Lean back. I have a good Gibson story for you guys. So preface, I like Gibson. I like Gibson guitars. I love how they look. I love how they sound. So that as a preface. I'm not a Gibson hater. But in 2012, I was invited by Gibson to fly over to Nashville to their factory, Memphis and Nashville. I was at both sites, and I looked at the production line. I was in both, in both the manufacturing sites, and people showed me around. And it's a long story why that is, but that just happened. Let's just say that happened, and it was in summer 2012, and I think it was in 2010 or 11 where they had the big flood. And it was also the time of the guitar forums. It was the phase before YouTube was super famous for guitar players showing their stuff there. So all the info you got from guitar forums pretty much. It was right around the time where they faced this huge critique for using bumblebee capacitors that are just like 59-cent capacitors, but they sold them as a set for like $20 or something like that, and everybody just mocked them for that. They also mocked them for using a truss rod condom and all these different things. So they were quite the critique brand in the early stages of the internet, like 2010-12, where everybody was on the forums. So I was there, and I picked my spots, and I tried to at some point ask them, hey, what do you think about what everybody writes about your brand on the internet, and what do you think about that? And back in those days, I can tell you, the arrogance of these guys there, telling their opinion about what they think the internet is, and that they don't give a damn about these things because as long as the guitars sell, everything's fine. So all these things that I've heard back in 2012 was a little bit of a head scratcher to me, because I'm born 91, so I'm a digital native pretty much, right? So for me, the internet wasn't just some corner of the world where some idiots exchanged their opinions. It was like, oh, so your brand is getting damaged in all these forums, and that will definitely impact buying decisions later on. And I think they're still suffering from that nowadays, because Gibson has this reputation of, kind of sloppy guitars sometimes for a lot of money. And it actually happened to me this year when I bought my ES55. I had to go through like 20 before I found one that actually was perfect for the price that was asked, which was several thousands of euros. So I have to say, back there, they didn't think about that at all. They were like, we don't care about what the internet says. Look at our sales numbers. I don't care. I don't give a damn. So they were it was like a very toxic combination of them being so overly convinced by their products, which were on so many levels not great, especially at the time when they had the double layered rosewood fretboards and, all this critique online and all these dubious kind of sales strategies with those bumblebees capacitors that were just like cheap rebranded capacitors for a couple cents and all that stuff. So, but they just didn't care at that time. I know they do care now, because what the internet is today is even more powerful than what it was back then. So nowadays they can't have these kinds of shit shows anymore. And I think the guitars have gotten better over the last 5 to 7 years, that I would say. But there was a period, I'd say between 2010 and 2012-ish, where, they had the flood, and then they had this problem with the wood that they didn't get. So they used like baked maple for some of that stuff and tried to market that. It was just 2 to 3 crazy Gibson years, but that surely didn't change anything about their attitudes on site. So they didn't give it, and I'll leave it at that. But I'll just say a lot of pompous people running around in suits there in the production halls, and a little bit too convinced by their products, to be honest. The arrogance was felt everywhere pretty much. So that was my first, not my last, but definitely my first impression, real impression face to face of the Gibson brand, the Gibson company, and who's behind it. On the other hand, I have to say, I had lunch with the workers, with the guys in the spray booth and all that stuff. Those guys were incredibly hard-working people. But the guys making the decisions, my God, it was a little bit strange to say the least. That was a little bit of story time with me. So yeah, I did visit the Gibson factory, the Memphis and the Nashville ones, the custom shop, the Gibson USA one. So yeah, I've seen all that stuff. And I have to agree, the Gibson strings are not great. But if had I told them back then, my God, I don't know what would have happened. All right, years and years ago, I wanted a Les Paul Gold Top. I couldn't afford it, so I got an Epiphone Gold Top instead. Eventually, I got the money for an authentic Gold Top. It was junk compared to the Epiphone. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, for a lot of years, the Epiphone stuff was good beginner stuff, but couldn't really hold up. I don't know how it is nowadays, because I haven't tried an Epiphone in years, man. I have tried a lot of Squiers on the Fender side, and I actually think they're pretty good. On the Epiphone side, I can't really say anything about that. Never again will I buy a Gibson. The customer service was awful. Yep. Soy Elchap said, I have got a Telecaster, but a Squier one. I have got a problem with it. Let me know what it is. Maybe we can fix it in the stream. We have a couple minutes left. And by the way, if you want to grab a guitar course, we have 20% discount all the way until... Man, I can't speak today. All the way until Christmas Eve, December 24. You can still get my courses for 20% off. And if you bundle courses at checkout, you can save up to 50%. So that means, bottom line, single course, $79 or $69, depending on what you're choosing, plus a little bit of tax. I don't know what your tax rate is in the country you're in, but it's $69 or $79, depending on what course you're taking. And then you can save more if you bundle courses. That's a great price, guys, if you want to check it out. My first Gibson was the 2012 model with the PCB board instead of real pots and no rosewood fretboard, and I had so many problems with it, I ended up selling it. Yeah, man, I had a 2009 Les Paul Standard. It was good, but I hated all that stuff with those pickups that they had PCB boards on, and you could just stick that in and you didn't have to solder and all that stuff. I think it was probably good intentions behind it, but they just totally overestimated the need for it. Like, guitar players just don't need that kind of stuff. My first string goes out of the neck on my Squier Telecaster. Oh, yeah, I've heard about that before. Goes out of the neck, my first string. I'm not sure what exactly you can do if you're not a luthier or like a handyman yourself, but I'm sure that your tech can pretty much fix that in an afternoon. Risk Mandela asks, I'm curious about your courses. What skill level would someone need to be to utilize them? Great question, man. Great question. So it depends. There's different courses for different people. So for instance, if you go to the melodic soloing guitar course, if you go on the landing page of that, in the FAQs it says, it always says what you need to do or what you need to be able to do on your guitar to actually benefit from that course. So for instance, in the melodic soloing course, to learn, a couple modes, to play like this. All you basically need to know is what the minor pentatonic scale is. So in E, that would be... If
you can play that scale up and down, maybe in 1 or 2 positions on the fretboard, then you're already capable enough to play in the melodic soloing course, because that's right where we pick up there. We're picking up the pace with the minor pentatonic scale and how to extend that with Aeolian kind of notes and making your pentatonic playing more melodic. So if you know the minor pentatonic scale and you're comfortable playing that, and also you know all your normal positions of chords, like your G majors, minors, C majors, minors, and all these different things. If that's what you have going on and when you're playing, then you can definitely join the melodic soloing course. On the other side, something like the power pentatonics course, where it's more about how do you play powerful pentatonics all over the fretboard. So instead of playing, that you can also play so that you move through the pentatonic boxes freely. It's probably better to go through the melodic soloing course first and then later pick up the power pentatonics course, because that is definitely, I wouldn't say it's definitely not a course for super advanced players, but intermediate players, I would say. And if you're in the late beginner, early intermediate stage, I'd try the melodic soloing guitar course first. With the melodic riffing course, if you want to move into rhythm guitar, all you basically need is how to play power chords and cowboy chords. So, and then power chords. If you can do these two, the melodic riffing course is perfect, because it basically teaches you how to go from to something like, you know, same chords, different voicing. So I teach you what great rhythm guitar playing sounds like, how to make it interesting instead of just playing boring chords, play super nice melodic lines between the chords. And all you need to know for that is basic chords and power chords. So there you go. Too long didn't read version of that would be if you're if you're a late beginner, early intermediate player, at least all these courses are fine. If you're still trying to play the very basics, like a C major chord, a D major chord, an A major chord, and you can switch between these chords fluidly, then maybe these courses are a little bit too ambitious for you just yet. But otherwise, you're good. Like, they're not pro courses. I miss my 90s Les Paul studio with ebony fretboard. Yeah, man, those were great. I remember them. I'm from Croatia, Joey. Saw you were in Imotski on holiday. Come to see me next time. Man, where did you see that? Did I post that? Not sure. Where did you see that? On Instagram? Yeah. I'm going to be there next year too, my man. We're going to be there in the same Airbnb again. So I will be in Imotski in Croatia again next summer. All right. Dan Anthony, who was the guitarist that made you say I want to do that? Do what? Play guitar? Man. Probably Jimmy Page. Do you know the Led Zeppelin Song Remains the Same concert movie when they play at Madison Square Garden? That shit changed my life. I did listen to AC/DC before, and my dad had the VHS tape at home from the concert in Paris, that which is also a concert movie, like an AC/DC concert movie from '79. That was the first thing that I heard, and that raw energy of rock got into my veins. So I love to listen to that after hearing Angus Young and AC/DC. But once I saw Jimmy Page in The Song Remains the Same, with that low hanging Les Paul right here, playing like
You know, that was it pretty much. When I saw that, I wanted to be in a band, I wanted to have a band, and I wanted to be a guitar player on stage. I wanted to play for people. Yeah, so the Too Long Didn't Read version would be AC/DC made me fall in love with rock. And Led Zeppelin or Jimmy Page made me want to be a guitar player because, oh man, I could talk for an hour about Jimmy Page. Like, Jimmy Page is the perfect blend of riff and melody. That's what I strive to be in my playing. I know there's not a lot of Zeppelin reminiscent stuff in, no immediate reminiscent stuff in my playing. But when you think about it, when you think about a riff like, let's see. Yeah. You know, it's the perfect blend of like a gnarly, bendy riff and then a nice melody at the end. Or same with No Quarter. Same with actually. You know, there's a lot of Zeppelin tunes that I can play by heart, no problem, because I love that band, and Jimmy Page especially. Like, he's melody master. Like, people give him shit for playing too sloppy in his solos. Nobody gives a damn about that, guys. Nobody gives a damn. If you write songs like I butchered that a little bit because I didn't play it for a long time, but when you write songs like that, nobody gives a damn about how sloppy or clean your solos are. So, Jimmy Page, everybody. Awesome. I'm a self-taught intermediate, so I know a fair amount, but I definitely have some voids in my guitar education. Then the courses are perfect because it's perfect for people who just want to fill some gaps. It's not the most theory-heavy stuff in my course because all my courses are about playing. You will notice when you get a course that I immediately get you into playing. I have backing tracks, I have tabs right on the side, so you play with me all the time. Instead of diving into like loads of theory, we keep playing the entire course. So we keep up the fun. We do a little bit of theory. I have some scale diagrams and stuff, but I keep the stuff fun because I've experienced when I teach or when I taught in the past, the more you keep playing, the more the fun stays up and the more you keep at it. And that's the most important thing. You will learn theory as time goes by. You'll pick up theory naturally, but you need to ensure you keep playing and you keep having fun. Right. Okay, looking at the clock, guys, we're already in for over an hour. We should probably do a final round of solos, a final round of questions, and then we should probably just call it a day. And I wish you Merry Christmas then at the very end. So, let's just yeah, that AC/DC concert in Paris was life-changing and inspirational. Yeah, man. When they go out with, I still remember, like, I still remember when they come out and they start with live wire. They start with the, you know, Angus is standing on top of that cabinet tower, you know, and Malcolm's playing. You know, type in this building. And then they changed the riff, right? Man, I want to watch it now. He jumps down now and then goes. And he goes, you know, makes his dance. In trouble. You know, Bon Scott, the best. I love it. So, all right. So let's do. Hey, man, let's do a final round of solos. I'll show you a couple more cool melodic licks over that backing track. You have time to give me a couple questions in the chat, or just, you know, yeah, for a final batch of question, and then we just, you know, call it a day. Right? So let's get back to the backing track. There's one thing I want to show you that I haven't done. And that is using a couple of strategic bends to move from one register to the next. And we start down here, and via bends we move up into the next octave. That's also something I teach in the Power Pentatonics course. Like this. See what we did there? We just started with a cool bend down here, low octave, F sharp. We build it up. We move up diatonically with bends. That way we stay musical and it doesn't sound like we're playing up a scale. We have these. And then we're up one octave. Very cool way to open up the fretboard, if you will. For that, you need to know where those bends are and how you can incorporate them into cool licks. So, yeah, that's nice, huh? Do we have a couple more questions here? You just got filed into the favorite file cabinet. That's nice. Love these hangouts. Yeah, me too. That was entertaining. I felt like I was there for a moment.
Yeah, I can relive all these moments. I've watched these concert movies so often, man. Down to 15, down to 13. What does that mean? I don't know. I got to fix my telly. Why did I throw 11s on it? Well, 11s is painful, man. Painful. Schönes Q&A. Thank you. Thank you, Maximilian. If you got the time for another question, I struggle with muting strings when trying to solo and get a lot of feedback and buzzing from other strings. Any tips or exercises you could recommend? Muting strings when trying to solo and get a lot of feedback and buzzing from other strings. Yeah. So, not to discourage you, but that does sound like you're playing already a little bit too much for the level that you're on. So I guess what you mean is something like this. So let's say we are in F sharp here. Let's turn off the delay for a second. So, and what happens in the late beginner stage when you know all your chords, but you still have to master all that lead guitar kind of stuff and have to get it clean. What often happens is you try and play a lick, say, but then when you do that and you're not comfortable playing that yet, something like that happens. Because you can't really mute all the other strings. And it's, you know, it's hard to do that either with your fretting or your picking hand. And usually to me, without knowing what exactly you are playing, it sounds like you're playing something that is a little bit too difficult for your skill level just yet. What you should do if you're having trouble muting strings and trying to get something clean on the lead side of things, because I think it's about lead playing when you're saying trying to solo and get a lot of feedback and buzzing from other strings. So the first thing you need to get right, and I think a lot of beginners ignore that or don't hear it, is the most friction you get with other strings is when you're bending, because when you're bending, you're moving one string up into the other strings, and that usually is recipe for string buzz and weird noises and all these kind of things. So the first thing you should do is probably take a sip of scotch here, like I'm doing, and then watch what you're doing when you're bending real close. So I'll try and do this like this. Maybe you can see it better if I do it like this. Let's say we're bending 4th fret G string. Look at my hand. What am I doing? You see this thumb right here, right? This thumb is already muting the top string. This finger right here is my pinky. This pinky is automatically, without me thinking about it, this just goes automatic, muting this string down here. Can't ring. This up here, can't ring. So top string, bottom string already isolated. Can't make any weird noises because they're muted. And the adjacent strings, so the B string and the D string, which are, you know, on top and bottom of the G string. So you need to make sure that this bend with your ring finger already mutes the D string above, and with the flash of your ring finger right here, you need to mute the B string underneath. Sounds completely brutal, but once you figure it out, it's the most natural thing ever. It sounds like you need to think about a million things at the same time. You don't. Once you get the right grip, your bends will sound clean. You will only hear the bent note. And that is always, or very often, the first reason why you get a lot of string buzz, because it probably sounds like this, right? Right, where you have more strings ringing. So the way to do this is just isolate that bend in a lick and do the bend only. See if you can bend one string in any position on the fretboard. And do it clean without hearing any other strings. If you can't do that, then you can move into the next step, which is muting. So that this would be step one. I'm giving away a lot of knowledge here, I feel like. But the next step then is to find a way to also mute with this hand. So when I'm doing something like this, then you hear every note clear, but you also hear a lot of them are muted, like. It's a little bit of Eric Johnson technique. What's happening here is some of the strings, preferably the lower ones, are muted with my palm here, with this side of the hand, and you go over the strings. Let's say we have this lick here. Then you can play it all open, but then also you get, that's a recipe for getting, string buzz. So they, they wash into each other. There's no real separation. But if you mute it a little bit, see, they're not completely ringing. And then you start playing the G string open. You're also getting a nice accentuation between, muted strings and open strings. So basically, the too long didn't read version, you need to start being able to mute with this hand when you're bending, and with this hand if you're playing 2 note per strings or 3 note per strings here. So it's all about the muting. It probably doesn't have anything to do with your guitar, and it sounds like you need to play it slower. Because when you're playing it slow, you really understand every movement and you understand where the noise is coming from at what exact moment. Try that. All right. Do we have any more questions? Or I think we should wrap it up now, guys. I'll do the last 3 here if we have 3 more, and then we're out of here, okay? Right. I love double steps in your solo. Thank you, man. Desert Island guitar, Desert Island pedal. All right. Desert Island guitar, probably Nick Huber Surfmeister, because it can do everything and anything. Because the Desert Island guitar would probably indicate that I have to play everything with one guitar. All the things that I want to do, it's probably the Nick Huber Surfmeister. Desert Island pedal, I guess a tuner. And if not a tuner, then probably a delay, like a Keeley Halo. You can find it in the description down below as an affiliate link if you want to check it out. It's an awesome delay. It's the delay you're hearing right now. Merry Christmas, dudes. Yeah, same to you, Sean. Merry Christmas. The year's almost over. This is the last video for this year. Only Jimmy Page can get away with not muting the other strings. Very good comment. Hey man, he doesn't need to, because he wrote stuff like and stuff like Jimmy Page riffs, man. We should have a Jimmy Page riff course. All right. Melodic soling. I'll translate that because it's German and the other people want to know what's happening too. Melodic Swords, I just bought it. You're a monster player. Always watch your videos. Always looking forward to new videos. Thank you, Maximilian. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Power pentatonic chord is the best bang for your buck, Immo. yeah, man. So if you're into the fast kind of stuff, like the... And into my trademark licks that you hear in my, in my professional solos and stuff, then the power pentatonic chord is definitely, good bang for your buck. Yeah, man. Got out the Glenlivet 12 year, very classy. Yeah, man. What are you drinking today? I just had, you're joining a little bit too late. I already had my scotch. All right, best tuning for songwriting. Let's do that as the last question before we get out of here. Best tuning for songwriting. Whew. Man, the best tuning for songwriting. It depends on if you're writing songs that you want to sing on as well. Then the best tuning for songwriting depends on your vocal range, because writing songs on the guitar, you always or almost always want to utilize a lot of open strings. And when you're in E standard, your open strings are E, A, D, and G for the most part. So you have to be able to sing in one of these keys if you want to use the open strings, which most guitar players do, because that's where the guitar just sounds best. So when you're a songwriter and you're writing for your own and you want to sing on it, pretty much your vocal range dictates what the best tuning for songwriting is for you. In my case, if you want to know about that, in my case, I sing best, because I'm a baritone, I sing best in something like A or B. So drop B tuning, everybody. Have you seen the video on my channel on drop B tuning with the Telecaster? It's one of my most successful videos out there. I can spoiler that a lot of my upcoming songs in 2026, because 2026, for all of you who haven't heard it, I will release an album, Joey Jones solo album, my songs, my vocals on it, the entire thing. There's going to be a couple drop B songs on it, so pretty low tuning, and then my voice on it. So for me, it's something like drop B or or E flat standard, because you have the A flat. It's a little bit lower than A, and it's comfortable to sing for me. But in general, something like Dadgad is great. Open D is great, because you have all these open strings. It sounds full on an acoustic. So if you want to write on an acoustic, it might be an open tuning. Depends on what you want to do. And I guess this is the end of the stream, guys. Let me say Merry Christmas to all of you. Have some good times with your loved ones, with your family. Remember, we only have this time once a year, so you better enjoy it. And I surely gonna do that. And I want to tell you, I'm very grateful for this year, very grateful for what happened in this year. Can't wait for 2026. Excited about what 2026 brings, how much growth we can get on this channel, what kind of music we can release, if you're gonna like it or not. So all these questions are pretty much up in the air. And but for now, let's enjoy these couple silent weeks or days. Enjoy the times. Make some great gifts to people you love, like one of my guitar courses if you want. Enjoy some scotch, enjoy some beers, work on your playing, get your guitars out. Remember, we are very privileged that we can do something like this that is so much fun to do, something like playing guitar. There's nothing better. And I hope you find my channel helpful. I hope you will be there next year when we release new videos. I have a couple ideas already. And I'll see you next year. See ya, guys. I'll play you out. Something there.